What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite host and jealous hater Apoc, and welcome back to the channel. So it was only a matter of time before I pushed out a second part to my OKbaby is not forever video, which was actually my first video on them, but it had to do with Oscar and Kira driving to their new Cali home at the time, and they were apparently arguing over who should get snipped or not, and Oscar wanted Kira to take one for the team because he didn't want to be the one to get the vasectomy, even though he's the one that didn't want any more kids. Oh, and side note, he did end up getting this one this year, but not without disrespecting Kira first. And she refused to get her tubes tied because it goes against her wishes, and it's not what she wanted, and it's an invasive surgery. She also stated that she didn't want the choice of future kids stripped away from her just because he didn't want any more, and just in case it didn't work out between them. Anyways, these two crazy kids uploaded a vlog called How We Overcame Our Breakup, where the premise of is apparently how they overcame the problems within their relationship, but as you will quickly catch on, they actually didn't overcome anything, and it just seems like there were some terms and demands set in place rather than actually fixing any of their issues. Okay, let's get to the show.
Who's the first to apologize? Me. Oscar? Oh dear Lord, you are blind.
Oh my god.
I'm so dead at Oscar's reaction here. He be the type to stir up a bunch of drama and and then emotionally abuse Kira into thinking that it's all her fault and make her apologize. Bruh. And for all his wrongdoings.
Why did you decide to keep your friendships off social media?
Oh yeah, and we're gonna get into a couple of questions here as well that don't really pertain to like them being in a relationship, but it does have to do with friendships, and I don't know, I decided to keep them. But let's just entertain this until we get to the good stuff. But as we have seen for years, Kira does not keep her friendships quiet or from social media. I mean, she has a podcast with her best friend Hannah. So what in the world is she even going on about?
That is a great question. Because I realized it's hard. People are so dramatic on social media about those types of things.
Yes, the viewers are dramatic, but not the people who dramatize their content for a living.
So like if you share one thing and then you don't share them the next day, they're like,
you guys must have literally gotten in a fist fight and killed each other, came back to life, and you never spoke again.
like something just so
I also feel like
crazy.
So I'm just going to assume that she's talking about Karen Swan and people questioning whether they're still friends or not, which I already made 2 videos on and getting ready for a 3rd part. But Kira and Karen's friendship, or at least the one that they originally had, was solely based around social media, and before had no issue showcasing that off to the world. In fact, they used it for content, but there was no issue before, but now there is, and none of it exists online.
She wants to keep things private, Apoc.
Chick vlogs her kids in pain and then reenacts it and documents them dripping in blood. Not to mention highlighting all of that within their thumbnails, dramatizing the situation and making it worse than it appears. So she apparently feels the need to explain whatever happened with her kids or something within her life when nobody else or would have even known if they didn't vlog the damn thing. Why is it that these two, Oscar and Kira, have no issue plastering their entire life online, but then Kira doesn't want to talk about her friendships? It's quite funny though, because Oscar and Kwa have no issue showcasing their friendship online and on social media, visiting each other between states, while Kira and Karen haven't seen each other in years.
But Apoc, they could just be busy with their children.
Yeah, that's why Kira made time to go hang out with Brittany, Jess Fam, and Sunkissed Mama, or whoever else, and had an all-girls trip to Nashville, but Karen was nowhere to be seen. It just blows my mind that people believe Kira, someone who literally said that even if there was a fallout between her and a friend, that she wouldn't say anything about it. So even if there was some drama, she wouldn't showcase it. Let's also not forget, before Karen's so-called fitness brand flopped, even though it was a flop from the start, the only time Jess Fam or anyone else acknowledged Karen was when they could get a commission for Kick-Ass. But Jess Fam has been to Florida a couple times this year to go to Disney literally a stone's throw away from KK and Baby J, from Karen, but doesn't go visit her to go say hi? Kinda seems like Karen is running out of friends. Look, what I'm saying is that when you push out the idea that you are best friends online or friends with someone on social media, and you constantly talk about them and you share their stories, you comment and like their posts and all that crap, and then all of it just comes to a halt, people are going to wonder what the hell is going on between you, and they're just going to speculate and assume things, especially because they don't know any of the context to it. But to be real, we actually do know those things based upon the things that they push out online. I mean, if you need further proof that they're not friends anymore, or at least that things have definitely changed, which Kira denied. But if you need more, I'm always willing to provide that. And I do it through what they upload. KK and Baby J left out Oscar and Kira, OKbaby, and they're telling our friends and family video that they're pregnant. So what else do you need to believe that something is afoot?
The comments get to your friends too. Like, I feel like multiple of your friends have like read stuff and been like, hey, is this true? And it's like, no. Like,
My non-YouTube friends.
So comments get to the real life friends. That's kind of weird, don't you think? Why in the hell are your friends questioning to what the haters are saying? I mean, they know you guys, right? They know who you are. They know who you truly are. I mean, they're around you. So why would they believe hateful things online? I am pretty curious though to what the friends are actually questioning. Probably the whole treating Kira like dirt thing.
I mean, I don't hide it either, but I just don't like show it as much. It's just funny because that's like the one thing that I keep more personal. I feel like I'm pretty open, but my friendships is one thing I actually have become more private with.
Imagine claiming, right, that you're wanting to keep your friendships private because it's like personal, yet there's no problem exploiting your children and shoving a camera in their face while they're in pain. What? She respects her friends' privacy more than her own children. And again, it makes no sense to keep friendships quiet from social media, the very f***ing place it was created.
I think things are also very easy for me and you to share when they're in the past. But when things are more current time and they involve people that aren't on our YouTube channel, it's difficult, you know, because they're current things.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what she's even talking about, but I believe what she's saying is that people don't want their privacy exploited. Mind you, that's their choice, but if Kira and Oscar had permission, then they would. I mean, they literally do it with their own children.
Oh, this is a really good one. We could do an entire video about this, which we actually had talked about doing, but how you and I came out of like our... Oscar and I had almost separated at one point, pretty much. I mean, we didn't really talk about it. It never got to the point of us talking about separating, but we went through a very rough patch. How did we overcome that?
So, question. How do you pretty much break apart your entire family without ever having a conversation about it first? What, was Oscar just gonna dip out without a word? Because that's exactly what it sounds like.
when I was super serious about it, I feel like you were very serious, like, oh, okay, like maybe this needs to stop. And I mean, I still like had to like obviously, what is it called? Meet in the middle.
Meeting in the middle means you have to talk about things. And let's make one thing clear. The so-called rough patch that they apparently went through was not like the normal arguments and disagreements that couples have. It was Oscar wanting to spend time away from his family, doing things, and going on adventures without them. The whole meeting in the middle rhetoric that he's spewing was all based around Oscar doing dangerous things like skydiving, putting his own life and family at risk, while not thinking about them or his responsibilities. This caused Kira to have anxiety, as it should. And you know, eventually she just got sick of all the bull and had to set some boundaries. And that's what they mean by meeting in the middle.
How you know that, Apoc? You don't know everything. You don't even live with them.
Well, you know, check this.
But I'm not like over the moon. No, I'm not over the moon about this. Anywho, let's find out the names, I guess. We are cat people now. Baby, wait, look at me before we go in there. This is the last time you do anything like this again.
Is it the first
Or I'm gonna stop filtering my impulsive, stupid decisions that I like to make. I'm gonna stop filtering them out.
Jumped out of airplanes.
Yeah,
It's a lot more of a risk for our family than having some cats.
Oh my god. I guess that's kind of true. But I'll go back to that. I'll go back to that.
Like 80 times.
143.
Yeah.
But I'll go back to that. You want me to start doing something again? Hold it.
Don't threaten me.
Don't threaten me. No, I'm kidding. No, it's not even that. Just like the everyday little things, like not thinking about you. I don't know if that's
you
me.
do that?
No, but like
Wait, that's easy for you?
You promise this is the last time you do anything. I won't be this nice the second time.
So he threatens to go back to skydiving, something that caused Kira to worry and to be filled with anxiety, and he's willing to go back to it just to spite her. Bruh. Not to mention, Oscar literally just said he can go back to not thinking about her. I do not have to be physically near them or to actually know them to see these things. They literally push it out as content.
But it was kind of just one last, like, it was like an ultimatum at that point. I felt like you know what I mean? It was like this is gonna happen if you don't stop doing, or yeah, at that time I was blaming you.
Blaming her for what? Wanting to spend time with you? The father of her children? How can you give someone an ultimatum when you apparently didn't talk about separating? An ultimatum literally means, the very definition is a final demand or statement of terms, the rejection of which will result in retaliation or a breakdown in relations, which means Kira would have told Oscar that he needs to knock off his or else. That is literally talking about separation. But you know, what tickles me where the sun don't shine is that she gives Oscar an ultimatum based around him being selfish, greedy, and dangerous, while he gives her one on threats of retaliation, of going back to being those things, all because she bought a pair of cats. Now, going behind your partner's back and buying pets is wrong, especially without their knowledge, but that doesn't merit him going back to risking his life and risking his family. But you do notice the difference. Oscar wants to retaliate in spite of Kira and using the cat impulsive purchase to do so, while Kira is just sick of the bullshit and constant neglect and anxiety and just wants a present partner.
But if you don't stop doing X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
and then you were like, okay, and like we thought about it for a little bit, and then the next day we woke up and like I felt like instantly we started working on those things.
It's funny because he states that they woke up and decided to work on their issues, but later on states that he doesn't actually know what fixed the issues on her end with him. And I'm getting curious again here, because what is X, Y, and Z for Kira? What did she do that slighted Oscar so bad to give her an ultimatum? What problems and drama did she cause the family? Wanting attention? Wanting him to be safe? Wanting not to be a single parent? I don't know, this video is just so damn vague. My guess is, it's because the truth would open eyes about Oscar.
It's kind of interesting because we both have very different times in our relationship. Like that to you is what comes to mind.
Oh,
but
for
to
you,
me it's
no,
a
it's different.
completely different point in our relationship.
You would think that both parties who just literally stated that they woke up the next day and started fixing their issues or whatever, but you would think that both of them would somewhat be on the same page here. I mean, that's how it would work, right? That's how you would actually overcome anything. But to be honest, it looks like that didn't happen at all. It just seems like Kira came to terms that Oscar is who he is and won't change for anyone, especially his family. Which is crazy because those should be the people that you would change for first over anyone. But hey, you know, narcissists don't change at all. Oscar gave up his vices, but only to stop the grief he was getting from Kira on the daily. But as we saw within that cat clip, which was only a few months ago, mind you, it was literally this year, those terms that they met when they fixed their issues are on a slippery slope. Because like Oscar said, he can just so easily go back to being dangerous on a whim if he so chooses to do that. Or if Kira doesn't stop her impulsive buying. To be real, the dude's just waiting for the day to find his excuse to go back to it with no care or concern for himself, his partner, or his children. He didn't make the choice to stop doing dangerous things. He was forced to. He just backed off of it because of the grief and that there was probably some risk to his money and his safety net.
Have you ever seriously considered breaking up with me?
Have you?
Do we really want to get into this right
No,
now?
we don't need to tell the story.
I'll just answer it. I poured
No, you don't need to answer it. I don't want you to answer it. Take a freaking
It's not
shot.
that bad.
It's mean and it hurts my feelings.
Okay.
Wait, you seriously were gonna leave me though?
But I was desperate enough to, if you were going to change, yeah. Like, I couldn't see myself in a relationship like that. Not that she was abusive or anything, but she was, you didn't want me to have a life. You wanted me to be,
A hug.
And you were being hypocritical. Okay, we don't have to get into that. That's for a whole nother video, I guess.
Lil Narc wanted to leave his whole ass family, all because Kira didn't let him live his life when he was already living one. You don't think your wife, your home, your children, and now even your animals, you don't think that's a life? You have literally built a life on your children. You have a lot of money because of your family. Without them, he would still be working in the vape shop. This is how ungrateful and greedy and selfish Oscar truly is. He doesn't think about these things. He doesn't care. He's a spoiled little brat that just wants to escape the life that he's living, even though the life he has was given to him by the family he has now.
But I think that, like, you know,
that way.
Oscar and I don't feel like we ever...
Wait, so what happened for you? What helped? Like, because for me, I felt like you started working on the things I asked. What do you think fixed it for you towards me?
We moved.
This is what I'm talking about, people. Dude doesn't even know what fixed the problems for her. She worked on the issues that he had with her, but he doesn't know what fixed the issues for her with him? Did he not work on the issues as well? What happened to waking up the next morning and fixing things? I guess maybe that was a lie too. Look, if he doesn't know the answer to that question, then how in hell does he know that he's doing right by Kira? A real partner keeps tabs and makes sure all is good by communication. And yet Oscar doesn't even know what fixed the situation for her. And you know, I really don't want to hear.
But Apoc, by Kira being in this conversation and in this video in general, it means the problems are fixed by default.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't mean that at all. Because they gave the perception for years, for a long ass time, that all was Gucci between them. And now they're only telling a half truth. But Kira has admitted that Oscar has treated her like dirt, that she fears his reaction of things. That means she walks around eggshells around him constantly. That's how that works. That's why she fears the reaction. And if she's not willing to admit a fallout between a friend, do you really think she's going to admit a fallout within the relationship? Something she spent some major time in? Oh hell no. Especially, again, for the longest time, where she portrayed Oscar to be so kind and heartwarming or whatever. But now we catch her in 4K calling him selfish and unkind. And on that Instagram fight that we can't really find, but we do see her state that Oscar treats her like dirt, this is what she posted on Twitter.
Do not throw the word abusive around. If I was being emotionally abused, I would leave, no questions asked. We addressed it and it's done.
Yeah, when you're screaming at your partner that he treats you like dirt, I really wouldn't call that unconditional love, sis. That's definitely abuse. Not to mention, like I said, fearing and being terrified of his reaction is a sign and red flag of emotional and even physical abuse. Now, I'm not saying that Oscar physically abuses her. I'm not saying he puts his hands on Kira. I'm not saying that. But he's definitely doing some mental torture here, gaslighting her at every turn. And even with the whole skydiving thing, he knew that Kira didn't like it, that it gave her anxiety. Yet he was still doing it, and is still, even to this day, threatening to go back to it to spite her. Tell me you have Stockholm Syndrome without telling me you have Stockholm Syndrome.
That whatever was going on with you helped with you.
Oh my god, what is she talking about? He was trying his very best to avoid being around her. There was nothing going on with him. He's just garbage. He doesn't even know what fixed the problems for you, Kira.
Anyways, it's so long, but basically I feel like me and you have never really, we don't say like, oh, let's break up, or I'm leaving you, or you know.
No, that's very serious.
Yeah, you don't say it, you just think it to yourself. Imagine believing bottling up all your emotions and issues with your partner within your relationship is a good idea, instead of actually trying to confront and solve the issue with communication. And so this gets to the point where you're considering splitting up and separating your entire family, and one of you didn't even know anything about that. These people give out relationship advice.
I said it showed seriousness of like, oh crap, you know, like.
Yeah, because sitting in secret, contemplating about leaving your family without your partner's knowledge, mind you.
Is it a big deal, bro?
This is real, yeah.
I do feel like every time we go through a really rocky point, somehow life pushes us back together.
It wasn't life, it was gravity that pushed us back in, so he had no choice but to do that. Really wouldn't call that hashing things out, my guy. The only thing that met in the middle in this situation was Oscar's spine folding into the floor.
Like, we went through a rocky point, which I feel like we didn't even talk about, or never even brought up, right before I broke my back.
They actually did bring that up a few months prior in their little drunk Q&A video, where, guess what, Kira states that she didn't even know Oscar was planning to leave her right before he broke his back. And if you need further proof of this, that he wants nothing to do with Kira, check this one out.
My baby. I know you're in pain, I believe you, but what is...
Asleep. Luckily,
You're sweating so much, your face is really sweaty.
baby, I think I'm gonna die.
This is really how dramatic you are. I believe it hurts, like I know it did.
Hold on, I'm gonna cry. I need to cry without anybody sick for a second. Dude, I'm so stupid. I just hurt. I hope I didn't hurt myself for longer than like a week or so, you know what I mean? Like, I hope this doesn't last for too long because I need to climb.
So let's get a little perspective here, because I'm a perspective type of guy. My boy snaps his damn tailbone, says he feels like he's going to die, wants to cry because of the unbearable pain that he's in, and yet the first thing that comes to his mind is not, oh, I gotta go to the hospital. Oh no, what am I gonna do? I have to take care of children. Oh man, I have to be there for my family. Nope. It's none of that. The first thing that comes to his head is that he needs to be there, that he hopes he's not going to be out for too long because he needs to climb. As in, he wants to be away from his family.
We were going through a little rocky point, and then I broke it. Yeah, then I broke it because you were like, I was like getting obsessed with, I don't know.
Yeah, he was getting obsessed with not being around his family. The only reason they were going through a rocky point in the first place, at least at this time, was because of his obsession with doing other things without his family, like rock climbing, and bro was about to pull the whole BRB gotta go get milk for 20 years thing, all because Kira didn't let him live his life apparently, which by the way I would classify as a little more than rocky.
Anyways, I broke it. We were forced to hang out. Like, not that I'm forced to hang out with you, but we sat at home.
So again, let's set some perspective. The only reason why he hung out with Kira in the first place was because it was forced. It was not by choice. If it wasn't for his back breaking, he would still be out doing the same damn thing he always has done, which is ignoring and neglecting his family. Like I said, in the midst of breaking his back, the only thing he could think about, the very first thing he thought of, was that he had to spend time with them. And he hated that thought.
Because we weren't distracted by life, we only had each other at that point, and then we kind of like refound each other. I see what you mean.
Or like when we moved or whatever, or...
Okay, hold up. Life wasn't even in the way for them. Oscar was actively trying to avoid his life and responsibilities. He was out having fun while Kira was home taking care of the kids. He was trying to create his own life outside of the one he already had. But I guess these two can just keep going off about how moving was the reason why they were starting to lose feelings for each other. That's it. Moving in life, not neglection.
Why Oscar controls what you spend but buys whatever he wants when he wants. Definitely not true. I would say I'm the spender in the relationship.
Well, if others are noticing it, like their fan base, it's definitely true. I mean, they see this within the vlog. You know, Kira probably just buys things for the house or for the kids and maybe sometimes for herself, but it's mainly probably like little things. While Oscar buys all the big stuff, you know, like the man toys and goes skydiving 140 plus different times, which by the way costs roughly $40,000, while complaining that Kira was trying to buy a baby bottle sterilizer that only cost a couple $100.
Also,
Oh, I can see why it comes off like that, because I always make a big deal when I buy something on the vlog. I'm like, oh,
but I don't show every time I go to Target, you know?
Oh yeah, sure, Oscar, your overreactions why people believe that. But you know, not him spending and trying to make everyone else's dreams and goals come true. Spending money on trips and adventures and accomplishments alone, while Kira is sitting at home with the kids. Before he deleted it, he literally had an entire YouTube channel. He didn't put a lot of work into it, but he wanted to do it. But you know, Kira probably wasn't allowing him because at that time they were having their issues. But he had a channel based around helping others achieve their goals and dreams. He was helping random people he didn't even know, which is fine. But he did all this while his wife sat at home. Point is, he was helping others, helping randoms, while neglecting his own wife.
I think also, one thing I want to say is we do share money and split money, and that helps.
Odd for people who literally have and share the same exact job.
I feel like I do make bigger purchases too, and you make a lot of little ones.
Like I said, she gets the little stuff, while Oscar gets all the big things. All the fun stuff, all the fun toys.
Are you sad you didn't get to live out your 20s? That's a good one.
No, I'm living them right now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, and you're living it without your family.
I don't think we're living our 20s like normal 20-year-olds. I mean, we have 4 kids and we're 24. But I also think like this is exactly where I want it to be. This is what I pictured my 20s as.
Imagine picturing yourself being a child exploiter.
I would say I want a little more excitement, but not in that way. Like I would like to be able to go ride my dirt bike more often.
The freedom
Well,
aspect.
I'm talking like I have a real dirt bike. My mountain bike.
Still thinking about doing things outside of his family.
I do wish that we had a little bit more freedom. Obviously, with 4 toddlers, we're really like,
Drowning.
yeah. But other than that, we're doing just fine.
They act like they're just so busy with life and their children, but either one of them can just come and go as they please, just like any other vlogger. They all do this. They act like they're so busy, but in all reality, they're really not. Not to mention, OKbaby literally have people that hold their vlog camera for them and edit their videos, while also having a babysitter and a nanny at the same time. So, yeah.
Does Oscar mind you talking about blank so much on BTS?
Not at all. I feel like that's actually always been Kira. She talks about it with everybody. She's talking about it with everybody from day one. And I wouldn't say that it took any getting used to because I was kind of just like, oh, like,
I do
feel
think
like
so a little
you're
bit.
so natural about it.
Yeah, do you guys remember Kira's little Topic Tuesdays? I don't know if she does them anymore since she started her BTS podcast, but do you guys remember those? They were like Instagram lives where she was talking about like not suitable for work type deals, you know, where she says that Oscar only shows his affection when he's balls deep because that's like his love language. But outside the bedroom as a partner and father, he's no bueno. Anyways, all you jealous haters, that's about it. Now, I'm not mocking or making fun of someone being in a toxic relationship like this because, to be honest, Kira is a victim. And to be honest, we should pity her. And hopefully one day she'll wise up and leave him.